A very good morning to all my hearty friends. So, today's journey would be a very exciting one. So, as you can see, the weather is overcast with clouds all across, and I have been having these dreams about the rains that we had in Assam. So, I just wanted to experience the rain similar to what I have in my hometown for one more time. So, that's when I searched up for places around Bangalore, and pretty soon we were in Sakleshpur. So this forest that you can see us passing through right now is in Sakleshpur. But to my misfortune, although the weather forecast showed heavy rains in Sakleshpur, but there was no sign at all of any rains there. So what do we do when we don't find rain where we wanted it? So we move towards the source of rain. And what is the source of rain? That is the clouds. And where do we find clouds? I have that experience from my past trip. So that's when we decided that we have to go to Chikmaglur, which is the home of clouds in Karnataka. So we reached Sakleshpur by around 4 p.m. and we were pretty hungry, and that also meant that we have to travel for like three hours at least more to reach Chikmaglur. And for food, that's what we had for lunch. We had these amazing corn. So after that quick lunch, we started on our journey towards Chikmaglur. And again, the entire journey from Sakleshpur, not exactly Sakleshpur, from Coorg to Sakleshpur to Chikmaglur passes through these very green surroundings. And there are these tiny towns from now and then that you have to cross. And everything is just a scenic beauty. Again, I keep on having these confusion whenever I pass to these kind of places on what to keep and what not. And you can also see I'm keeping some parts of the urban sites that we are passing through. So this is Chikmaglur city. It's a very small city. It's just one stretch of road that connects the plains to the hills. And that's the police point at which last time also we were caught, and this time also we have been held up by the same traffic police. And very soon you can see, so this is just before we reach the hills of Chikmaglur, there is this police checkpoint where every outsider vehicle will be checked for pollution certificate. And here only on the left side, just behind that pickup van, so you can see an Omni, right? So behind that Omni is the very same air pollution testing station on which last time we had tested our car. So last time we paid the fine, but we got our pollution certificate, and this time the same certificate has worked. So it was basically like a deja vu moment for us. So at Chikmaglur I had to fuel up one more time because the fuel that I had in my car was sufficient for Sakleshpur, and Chikmaglur was like multiplying the distance by 2x. So soon after fueling my baby up, we were moving directly towards the hill. So as soon as you pass this police checkpost, it's within like 5 minutes or so that you would be able to see the beautiful hills of Chikmaglur. And unlike the other hills that we have in northeast, the hills are extremely steep. Just within a few seconds, just let the car pass a bit, that you can see there's the welcoming gate for Chikmaglur. You can see, thank you again, land of coffee. So Chikmaglur is basically also known as the land of coffee in India, and there you can see the steep hills around. That's what I was talking about. The hills would start so suddenly. I mean, from Bangalore it took like 4.5 hours to reach this place, and the hills, I mean, dude, there would be no trace of hills before you even cross Chikmaglur. And once you cross, you can see the hills rising like the Great Wall in the north of Game of Thrones. तो अभी हम लोग मुबारक काफ़ी काउंटी होम स्टे एंड एडवेंचर क्लब में आए हैं। लास्ट टाइम यहाँ पे हमने ओनली जिप लाइनिंग किया था और बोला था कि यहाँ पे वापस आएंगे, देखते हैं कुछ रहने को मिलता है कि नहीं। तो अनफॉर्चुनेटली यहाँ पे नहीं मिला, रिनोवेशन चल रहा है। अल्लाह कितना भी अच्छा नहीं है। Was about to become dark, and just before reaching the peak of Baba Budangiri, we saw some homestay signboards by the road. So that's where we parked our car and started looking for a place to stay. Now on the first homestay that we went in, just beside where we parked our car, that was completely filled. but they told us that there is this beautiful homestay behind the mosque, and that's where we're going now. And when we started towards that homestay, just look at the sight in front of us. So there are some other surprises also. Just hang on to the video for a moment. But from outside, this homestay looks like something that was out of the world. Just look at it. It was situated at a small hillock in the midst of these large mountains, and there was this huge porch in front of the homestay. We could see some other travelers also who were coming out after booking one of the large halls. And just look around it. So that's the downstairs, that's where the owner lives, and the first floor rooms are available for tourists. So there was this huge hall in the midst of the first floor, and this one was booked. So there was already this large troop of travelers that left just before we reached here. Dormitory again, it was the nicest room, but unfortunately it was not available for us. So there were two smaller rooms that he had around this main hall. So I mean, at this point of time also, we were both so happy that we have got a place like this. There was this lights outside, and there was a table also outside. But once we saw the room, I mean, just hear me what I had to say. So yeah, we had found a place where we could put our heads in during night, but the thing is, it was not that clean or hygienic. So anyway, we were to go to the peak of Baba Budangiri. We had seen some shops there last time around, and we felt that if we could find a homestay there, we would stay overnight there itself. By the way, from here the road till the tip of Baba Budangiri was completely covered in fog. The visibility was like 2 or 3 meters in front of the car. So we had almost reached. So it was around 4-5 kilometers from the last homestay till the peak. So that is where we had finally reached. It was around 6:30 or 7 by the time when we reached the peak, and it was absolutely covered in fog. So we had almost reached the peak. There you can see the lights of the small shopping complex at the peak, and I mean there were lots of shops there. You would just show when I go inside and park my car, but everything, I mean the visibility was reduced to like 4-5 meters, and in the midst of all these bright lights of the shops, that's everything that you can see. And it's because of all the cars parked here. Maybe because of that, maybe the surroundings would have warmed a bit, and for that reason only I could see a bit to the distance. Otherwise it was completely covered in fog and mist. Good morning. So कल रात को when we so the thing is we didn't find any rain in Sakleshpur. It was I think 3:30 or 4 by the time we reached Sakleshpur, and there was no sign of rain. So I said that I am not going to stay here. I mean, without rain, and it's not even too much cold there. What's the point of staying there? So we started off for Chikmaglur. Now, again, so Chikmaglur is again. So Chikmaglur is like 80 kilometers from Sakleshpur, and we started off on the journey. So we reached Chikmaglur by around 5:30, and from Chikmaglur again there are two routes that you can take for the hills. One is Mulyanagiri side and the other is Baba Budangiri side. So last time when we had visited Chikmaglur, we stayed towards Mulyanagiri side. Now this time we choose the Baba Budan side. Now Baba Budan side basically has a mazar at the peak of the hill, and we had seen a number of homestays on the route to the peak, so we thought we'd find something there, right? But we didn't find any homestay. So I'll just show you around with my rear camera the rest of the story. So now it was almost like 6 p.m. 6:30 p.m. by the time we reached almost 75% of Baba Budangiri hill, and we were not able to find any homestay. So there is one homestay we have already seen, right? So that's what we had in our minds, but when we reached there we saw that it was under construction and there were no rooms available. So then we started off again, and on this viewfinder you can see a shop, right? A white house behind that shop, right? So this is where we finally got a homestay. it was an okayish place, nothing too sophisticated. There were just some cots on the floor, and we had to sleep there. And we wished for a better place to stay. So we went to the peak. We had some food. The food was not at all good. We had some egg rice, etc. It was not good, but yeah, anyway, we had to fill our tummy. So we had that, and we started back for the homestay we had taken. Now we have almost reached the homestay's place, where I noticed, I don't know, the shop was closed, everything was dark, but I noticed the name of this Mugilamane homestay, and that was not even the homestay was somewhere else. But I saw this, and I saw this villa, and I thought, why not just go down and ask if they have any room available. So that's where the story is currently. You can see my car parked here, right, which means that we have already stayed in that wonderful villa. And here's the most exciting part, we stayed there for free. Now I'll tell you how. So this is basically a farmhouse, and it's not completed yet. So there is a caretaker who stays there, and I was amazed by the kind of friendliness he was showing. He just told us that yeah, it's under construction, but the thing is that if we want to stay, we can stay here. And he said that, I mean, he also had a few folks like us previously also who had come and stayed there. And so there were no furnitures inside that cottage, but he gave us his own. So I'll show you. There was a small cot, so he gave that to us. However, even with that, we felt that we might feel more cold, so we were still hesitating. Prabir was hesitating a lot. So that's when the second idea came to my mind, that I had a tent in my car which I had never used. So I had just set it up one time with Nihal, planned to stay in the tent, but then it was in the monsoon, it was raining heavily, but inside the tent it was too warm, too hot, so we didn't stay there. And I didn't even fold the tent properly. I just pushed it into my car, so it stayed like that forever. So I went back to my car and we got the tent to be used as bedsheet. So that is how we stayed in this villa. On the top floor
on this panoramic view. We had the cot that the caretaker, you can already see him at the door. He has woken up. So we took that. We used our tent as cots and we stayed overnight.
And by the way, this bag that you can see in front of me, that's Praveen inside, sleeping in the tent. So finally we made the perfect use of sleeping in a tent. We literally stayed inside the clothing of the tent itself. Anyway, behold, so that's the view from the terrace of our villa. So it was only a few weeks back when we had got that splendid farmhouse in Idukki by paying 5,000 rupees for the night that we felt that we are blessed to get a place like this at such affordable rate. And now, just a few weeks after that, I got an even better place for completely free. What can beat that? So that's the color of life, right? The kind of thing that you can get sometimes completely as free, you can never even imagine. You just have to live through a day to keep on finding these kind of happiness. So we started from our Chikmaglur villa at around 11 in the morning. The place was so good that even though we wanted to start early in the morning, but it just captured us as long as possible. Anyway, we had to leave. So again, that's the bhaiya, Harish Nayak was his name. So he didn't even ask us to pay anything. So anyway, out of our will, we thought of paying him 500 bucks, but unfortunately there was no network coverage there. We didn't carry any cash with us, so it was on complete trust that we left that place, just taking Harish Bhaiya's number. We told him that as soon as we get network, we will Google pay him the money. And that's where we started back on our journey. So finally, we were about to reach Mulyanagiri peak. So from where we parked our car, the trek is like 400 or 500 stairs. And the last time when we had come here, we didn't do the trek and go up to the temple at the peak of the hill, but this time we did. And yeah, this is like the coldest place in Karnataka. As far as, if I'm correct, please correct me if I'm wrong. This is the coldest place in Karnataka. It's located at a height of around 6,500 feet or so, I think. And yeah, not only Karnataka, it's one of the coldest places in South India. And yes, across the year, whenever you go here, you will be more than content to find the kind of fog this place has. The fog literally has no limits. And yeah, there you can see there's a signboard that claims the height of, I think, 6,000 feet. And there is also this Shiva temple. And yeah, I spent some serene moments here. I did go inside the temple and then I did sit there for some time. You can see a lot of other tourists also doing the same. I mean, not only for spiritual reasons, but because you have to climb like 500 odd stairs in such a cold weather, so high up in the mountains, you would be sort of breathless by the time you reach the peak. And spending 10-15 minutes there inside the temple will calm you completely down. So yeah, all in all, a very hearty little trip. Has been a wonderful little trip for us. So we started searching for the rain, couldn't find the rain, but we even at the end reached right inside the clouds. So if you have the will, you will follow your path no matter what. And even if you are not able to achieve the final dream destination that you had in mind, but wherever you reach would be equally fruitful enough. So with that, let me say goodbye to you folks for this time around. Please like and share the video if you liked it. Please do leave your comments below. And yes, friends, please subscribe to my channel. That means the most to me. Thank you so much. Goodbye and have a happy monsoon.